I want to share one of the most valuable pieces of retirement advice that I've ever heard. If you're thinking about your retirement and you're wondering if you're doing the right thing or think that you should be doing something different, or if you're just worried about all the things going on right now, whether it's the economy or the markets or the value of your accounts, be sure to watch this video because I'm going to share the retirement truths that every retiree goes through. And it's these things right here we're going to cover today. And every retiree goes through it and they experience this in retirement. So it's going to go over this and then also what to expect in retirement, and then how to give yourself the best chances of maintaining your lifestyle in retirement as well. Now, the negative of these retirement truths that we're gonna look at is that many of them lead to increased uncertainty or worry about your retirement. One of our goals, though, as we're thinking about it, is really the opposite of uncertainty or worry in retirement. It really should be more about confidence. Right? The next years, really, all the way up until you pass away, these are the magic years. These could be the best years of your life. And I know that because there's an actual study, a research study proving this. So let me pull that up really quick and show you the results, and I'll link to it below. People were asked to score their life satisfaction from 0 to 10, where 10 is the best possible life and then 0 is the worst possible life. And this is really just the average score by age. And I thought it was encouraging to see that life satisfaction tends to increase, as you can see, as we get older. And then it tends to trail off as we get older, but really the area, the period of time we want to focus on is that. This is the magic time. And we know this to be true as well because we've helped hundreds of pre-retirees move into retirement with confidence and excitement. And these were the people who were coming to us that were feeling somewhat unsure or not 100% confident with their money plan. And our firm, Streamline Financial, has been around for 24 years, and we've made it through quite a few bad market periods with our clients. And by the way, if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave Zoller, and I own Streamline Financial with Tim and Luke and Sean. And if you're working with an advisor now that's mainly focused on investments and investment planning, but doesn't talk about these key retirement strategies like the tax-efficient withdrawal planning and income planning, or just tax reduction overall, feel free to reach out to us through the website. Now, we don't always have time, but I'll get back to you either way. So let's get into this first truth. In retirement, it will be common to have that thought of maybe I should be making a change, or should I be doing something different. It'll be normal to feel this way in retirement, especially when you see the news or you're listening to friends talk about their finances. There's this feeling or this thought of really making us doubt our current plan, which causes some people to make more emotional decisions instead of making smart financial decisions. And a good way to avoid this is to avoid this feeling is by having an understanding of your plan, which really leads to more confidence with what you're doing, and having a plan for both the good times and also the bad market times so that you know that you're prepared for either one of those. And I'll give you some ways to achieve this coming up in this video. Now on to the second thing that comes up in retirement that we just have to be prepared for is we need to expect bear markets, right? You've most likely lived through a lot of them already, and really in retirement though, they feel a little bit different, usually worse. But because of the frequency, creating a plan with bear markets in mind and really big corrections built into the plan is a smart thing to do. That way, you don't have to worry when they eventually come. Now, if you're not sure how to model out these various what-if scenarios or bad market scenarios for your plan, then you may want to talk to a CFP or check out my favorite retirement income planner below this video. You should see a link to it. It's one of the best consumer-facing planners that I've seen, and it doesn't cost thousands of dollars like the ones that we use for our clients. The next thing to bring up is for pre-retirees who are close to stopping their wage, especially if that's during bad markets. They may think, should I work a little bit longer? Maybe just one more year to kind of make it through this difficult period. We actually had a client call us up about 5 months ago, and she was 5 months into retirement, and she said something like, it seems like so much bad news is out there and what's going on with the markets. I'm wondering if it would have been better if I should have just kept working. So we reviewed her plan, and because we built in to her plan this expectation of bad markets, everything looked great. And really the only reason to keep working would be if she really enjoyed this sort of work that she was doing and it brought her some purpose, but she didn't. So it was great. It was great confirmation that she was still on the right track. So if this sounds like you, take a look at another video I recorded. I'm gonna either link on this screen or it'll be below. And it gives a few real examples of what working an extra year might look like in a financial plan. The next thing to know is that no one really knows what's gonna happen next. It seems like everybody has a prediction on TV or YouTube or at the dinner table with family or with friends, and no one really knows what is definitely going to happen. We know this in a logical way, because there's that saying, if you put 10 economists in the room together and they need to come up with a conclusion, they'll come up with 12 different answers when they walk out. Knowing that, it's important to prepare your investment plan for that 4 economic seasons that we may go through in the future, since we don't know which one we're going to go through next. So just as an example, you've seen it before, the 4 economic seasons are higher than expected economic growth or lower than expected economic growth, and then higher than expected inflation or lower than expected inflation. And there's asset classes that can do well in each one of those. Now, again, we don't know which way we're headed, but having asset classes in each one of those potential seasons, that could be beneficial. Now, that's just my opinion, and really, it's for all of this, talk to your own financial professionals before doing anything like this. Now, on to the next one, which really has more to do with human psychology than investment strategy. And then after that, I'll share really the most helpful piece of advice that I've heard related to retirement planning. But if you like this so far, please click on the like button, and maybe this video can help somebody else going through the same things that you're looking for too. So the next truth is, in retirement, we may have a tendency to compare ourselves to others. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Really, throughout life, we've got that tendency to compare to others, but it can harm us in retirement too. If we do a video on this channel that mentions a dollar amount as an example, we don't want that to really make you feel better or feel worse about your current situation, because we help high net worth families at Streamline Financial. We sometimes mention big numbers, but we don't want it to be about the numbers. We really want to communicate just the principles and the strategies that can really be applied to anybody's finances. And there's always going to be people with more than us, and then there's always going to be people with less than us. And the one who wins is the one who's content and at peace, most at peace with their current situation. You know that saying, if I want to be able to practice being content with a little, and I want to be able to practice being content with a lot. And healthy competition, that's okay, but comparing ourselves to someone else because, if it causes us a feel of lack or less than, that can hurt our retirement plans, because that leads really back to that first point that we talked about in this list of feeling like we should be doing something different. For example, if we see a guy on the internet and he's investing a certain way, or he's changing up his entire strategy because of what's happening with the economy, then that may cause us to feel like we should be doing something different, and then start to increase the emotional level of our decision making instead of staying to strictly logical or financial levels. But again, it's a normal feeling to feel that worry or fear or anxiety with what's happening during current periods. But one of the most helpful pieces of advice that I've heard that we can apply to retirement planning is really the difference between those two words, fear and anxiety. Knowing the difference between those two is actually very, very helpful as we're planning retirement and talking about money. That is, if we want to feel better about what we're doing right now. When we think about fear and anxiety, we might think of them as being the same thing, but actually they're completely different things. And let me just pull up these two definitions if I can, really quickly. Fear is a caution over a real and present danger, and then anxiety is a worry over an imagined future danger. Now, fear, if we've got something right in front of us, then it's obviously a very helpful tool for us as humans. Anxiety, though, is not always a helpful tool as we're trying to process things. Partly because these anxieties, there's nothing we can do to control or influence them. You may have seen this drawing from Carl Richards before about things that matter and then things I can control. Here's the place to focus. And then another way to look at it is, we actually sent this to clients not too long ago on a video of what you can't control and what you can control. So we can't control the markets and inflation and what they're doing with interest rates, or what's happening in the news or the world or tax laws or the elections. But a lot of these things actually do relate to things that we can control. For instance, markets or inflation or interest rates, your portfolio allocation, you can control that. You can control when to pay taxes when it's related to investing. You know, as we're talking about Roth conversions or the costs, the tax drag on some of the portfolio. And not to get too nerdy about these things, but two of the biggest things that we've seen is this idea of not controlling the news, but what we can control is news consumption. We've seen a big shift with some people who, instead of someone who wants to consume the news, they switch from TV news to reading news, where you have a little bit more control of what's coming at you versus TV is just the next thing is coming at you. If you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm explaining that the right way. But back to this video, all the things that we mentioned before earlier here, a lot of these can be anxiety-inducing things as well, right? The severity of a bear market, or not being able to predict what's going to happen next in the world, or comparing ourselves and doubting our plan, or thinking that we don't have as much as we wish we had when it comes to money, or what if this happens, and what if this happens, how is that going to impact my plan? And that sort of thinking can lead to paralysis and really no action being taken. But what if you had a plan that was built in to show those different what if scenarios? So instead of the unknown future danger, you're able to get more concrete scenarios in the plan as a result. That's what I would recommend. Once you get it out in the open, then it becomes a lot less scary. We both know that. So either find a great certified financial planner who can show you that and show you the what if scenarios, or check out the DIY planner or a different planner that helps you put in those what if scenarios as well, so it becomes less scary. So don't forget, anxiety it can be the thief of dreams. It takes you away from enjoying the present moment, and it stops you from even taking the right action to make things better in the future, because it really just makes you only focused on the negative as you're moving through life. That video that I mentioned earlier is called Why Delaying Retirement Might Not Be a Good Idea. If you're pre-retirement and you're thinking you want to work a little bit longer because of what's going on, take a look at that one coming up next or below, and then I'll see you in the next video. Take care.